All right, we are finishing up on the other side. We're finishing up on the other side. Let everybody know we're live. I don't know what in the world happened with my little timing, child. My timer just was off. It was literally off. I don't know what happened. Make sure that's copied. Okay, I had to get everybody. Thank you, honey. Thank you. I feel like a little girl. I feel like a little girl. Wasn't that amazing? I want everybody to come on over and hopefully people then will get the notification that we're live and everything. So, oh, Gemini. Gemini. No. Stop. She's like, I've been gone all day. I have been in the streets. I've been in the streets, y'all, all day with the grandbabies. I slept in this morning because I was just exhausted. I mean, I was exhausted. And so I slept in this morning. And oh, I gotta put the link. Hold on. Okay, and I'm putting this link in here. So Art, when you get in here, this link is for Art to join the stream. There we go. That link could be for Art when he gets in here to join the stream. That should have hit. Did that make it? Okay. All right. At any rate, so I slept in, and then Gemini, I'm gonna put you out. And then I took the girls for a brunch. You're gonna need to move. Took the girls for a brunch, and child, we ended up shopping. So either the next time you see this, hey cousin, we're waiting on our guest of honor. We're waiting on our guest of honor. Paste. Mr. Art Giser. If you guys did not get a chance to see it before, see the oh my god, see the podcast, go back and watch it. Why? You know what? This all right, they starting early. Keza, you got them. Oh, there's Art. Hey guys. Keza, you got our resident already. Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm
Good.
sitting in front of my green screen. I didn't think about that, but maybe I'll.
Oh, but you want to put a?
I'll put it
You
back.
can change the background. We're real flexible on this channel. See, there you go.
Yeah.
Hey, hello. Thanks for coming on. We already have a lovely troll. Gotta love the trolls. They work so hard. They truly work hard.
Yeah, I had fun with them, particularly on Facebook, because I'll just message back that I go, Facebook likes any comments. They don't care if it's positive or negative, so thank you.
Yeah, no kidding.
The end of it.
Hey, Super Cab. Hello, Debbie. Hello again, Keza. Hey, cousin Cups. How you doing, honey? All right, and you guys, as you're filing in, we will continue to say hi. Art, you know, I tell people I get to watch the Gemini. My God, today. Come here. You know what? At some point, your Tushy's going to be somebody's green screen. Somebody's background. I get to watch the podcast, you know, a few times when I'm editing them and things like that. And every time I watch them, I get something new out of it. That was such a very powerful time. And so I really, really want to thank you for sharing this energetic NLP with us. Now, there's some people that are here that weren't over there, I don't think, watching. Do you want to like just briefly explain energetic NLP? First of all, some people don't know what NLP is, and that's neuro-linguistic programming. Am I right?
Right.
All right,
And
awesome.
I've been an NLP trainer since 1985, and NLP was developed as an alternative to traditional psychology at the time, and they were looking how to make people can make deep, rapid changes. Because traditional psychology at the time was, "Hi, you need to be in therapy at least for 5 years," and but there were some therapists who could do really magical things with people, and they studied them and developed this whole system for rapid, deep changes. And it's a fantastic system. But what I started adding to it was spiritual principles, healing and transformative energy work, clairvoyance development, and everything else I was learning. And so,
Mhm.
energetic NLP, those are all the parents of energetic NLP, and then it's grown into its own unique field.
Mhm. It's interesting when we met each other, came across, or our paths were crossed. I had always assumed that NLP automatically had a spiritual component to it, right? And maybe there is, and maybe people just don't make a big deal about it. But I always assumed that it was more so energy work, and now I guess I understand. So because there would be some people that were getting their NLP certification or whatever, and
Mhm,
then I'd be like, "Oh yeah, come work with me and we'll get you started," right? But
mhm.
then they'd kind of go off into the sunset. Now I kind of understand why, because it really is not esoteric at its base. Am I
Not at all. Though there are people, a few of us started combining it now, and there's more and more people. As more and more people are opening up to the esoteric, there's more and more people who have that perspective. But NLP itself was very uh, scientific or very logical, even
right?
though it worked a lot with metaphor and opening up the powers of the unconscious mind. But it was
Uh,
still very grounded in consensual reality, and
right.
not in
That's
energy work.
that's interesting to me. That's very
Yeah.
interesting. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Wow. So what do you want to do tonight? Do you want me to, if somebody wants to come up and ask you questions, are you open for that? What are you open for tonight, Art?
I am open. So
Uh,
yes, people want to ask questions if they want to go through a process. Um, I'm open to whatever they'd like.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to drop the link. Our
Uh,
first
uh,
question of the night: does
yeah.
NLP work on narcissists?
Well, yes, yes, and of course, part of it depends on whether they see that there's a problem, they want to work on it. If they
Mhm.
do, because there's a lot of people that just they don't notice nonverbal responses, and they don't really think necessarily even about other people's reactions. So some people are narcissistic because they're bordering on sociopaths, where they just don't care about other people. But there's a lot
Mhm.
of people narcissists are just clueless. They really don't get it. They don't get other people's experience. And I
Mhm.
have worked with people to teach them how to step inside other people's experiences, and then a lot of them, they really shift because it's like this light bulb goes off because they really didn't understand the effect they were having on other people, and they didn't really
Mm.
understand that how they needed to calculate in, if I can use that word, other what they did, what they were things they were going to do, what's the effect on others. So
Mhm.
if they're open to it, very much so, and if they're not open to it, you can use NLP in some ways, because NLP has a lot of things in it about. Well, let me back up. Part of what NLP is, it was the structure of the subjective nature of experience, the subjective nature of experience. So, what does that mean? It's like your internal reality. How does your internal reality create your responses and how you are in the world and what you feel
Mhm.
and what you think and what you do? And that internal reality for a lot of narcissists, it's just a very closed internal reality. And when you start opening it up, so they become aware of other people. In fact, if I can tell a quick story,
Yeah.
I don't know, this man wasn't a narcissist so much, but he was a nerd in the old-fashioned sense of it, just that he was socially inept. Really nice
Yeah.
guy. And
Yeah.
so I gave him an assignment, and this is very NLP-ish, to watch TV with the sound off. And all he was supposed to do was notice people's emotional responses. And he didn't need to know what they were, but just to notice, oh, they're going through different emotional states.
Right.
And so after he did that a few times, he started naturally doing that in real life. And all of a sudden, he was noticing all kinds of responses from people that he just hadn't noticed before. I mean,
Mm.
that people think it's obvious to notice nonverbal behaviors, but a lot of people, they just never learned it.
No,
And
they
what's
don't.
kind of funny is, and I didn't tell him why I had him watching the TV, which is, I was doing this to get him what he wanted. He wanted better relationships. So I was doing what he wanted, but I didn't explain how it was going to work.
Mm.
So he comes back and he goes, I've been watching other people. And I went, oh, what have you noticed? And he goes, a lot of people are scared of me. And I go, well, it's unfortunate you're a young Black man and a lot of people are
Yeah.
going to be scared of you. And he goes, well, it makes total sense. I just never noticed before. He goes, I was so busy being scared of them, I didn't realize they were scared of me.
Oh my gosh. Oh my
You know,
gosh.
which is very empowering for him. I mean, not the racism part of it, but the fact that like, oh, I'm not the only scared rabbit in the world. There's lots of us.
Yes.
I just
Yes.
wasn't realizing it.
Yeah.
And so again, he wasn't a narcissist, but he was clueless. And so I think it can help a lot of narcissists if they're willing and open. And if not, sometimes you can give them experiences in NLP that will have that kind of result if it fits their system and their values.
Do you think that sometimes it's interesting you say that, you talk about that, because I think maybe sometimes we rather flippantly assign narcissism to people when it's really not narcissism. It's either that part of them hasn't been really created or nurtured or turned on or whatever for other reasons
Exactly.
besides some level of narcissism.
One of the great things about NLP is they talk about your internal mental strategies. And there's a lot of variety of how you can approach life, but to be successful at a certain particular thing, there isn't a lot of variety. And just a lot of
Mhm.
people were never taught certain things.
Mhm.
Give kind of a funny example. In one of our classes, this couple, they've been together, I don't know, over 20 years, I think, and they got along really well as a couple. And we would do these processes sometimes to notice what do people notice and what don't they notice. So
Mhm.
I used to think everybody really paid attention to my voice tonality. So if I was communicating through my tonality, not the words, and somebody ignored it, I would think they were ignoring me. I didn't realize that some of them, they just weren't noticing it. So this couple, the way he would tell a joke is he'd say something stupid, but he'd have this certain tone of voice that would
Uh-huh.
let you know it was a joke. Well, he discovers when they're doing this process, she never knew that. She was very visually aware, but she didn't pay much attention to voice tonality. So now
Oh,
he's horrified. He goes, all these years, because his jokes were stupid, and he'd go, all these years, what did you think was going on with me when I would say these stupid things? And she'd go, well, I would think every now and then Lou says something really stupid, but it was never important. So it was like, oh, I didn't worry about it.
oh no. Oh no.
And he's like horrified.
Oh my gosh. All these years you
But
thought
almost
you
any skill, like I remember years ago working with a woman who she comes in to my office and she's very smartly dressed and looks really sharp. And she goes, I'm not bragging, but I'm smart. I'm a really good businesswoman. Why can't I do math? She goes, I meet men who are half as smart as I am. I'm not bragging, but they are. And they
Mhm.
can do math. Why can't I?
Mhm.
And it was just the way she thought about math. You know,
Mhm.
Einstein couldn't do math the way she thought about it. Nobody.
Mhm,
So,
mhm.
and so when I started pointing out to her that all these years when she tried to learn math, she was trying to do it in the short version of it. She would get into the stories. So if John had 3 apples and he gives Susie 2, how many apples did John have? She'd be into the story. And anybody who's good at math, you get rid of the story and you figure out
Exactly.
numbers. And nobody had ever told it to her that way. So when she tried to learn math by memorizing example stories.
Wow.
So if somebody on a test had a story or a problem that didn't fit one of the stories, she couldn't solve it. and,
Oh,
uh,
no.
and so here she was, this brilliant woman, thinking she had a genetic defect in learning math, and it was not. It was just a thinking style.
Right, exactly.
And since a lot of women are more relationship oriented, it's one of the reasons some women have trouble with math, because again they get into the stories, not the math.
Right, because we feel the energy rather than having the logic sometimes.
Well,
Um,
yeah, but there's logic going on, but it's about the story, not about
right,
the numbers, and
right,
the principles.
right.
And just they were never taught to do that. So, it what everything I'm describing is part of the whole field of NLP, not just energetic NLP. And
Absolutely.
it's a fascinating, and skills transference is part of both fields. It's like if one person can do it, how do you help another person do it? And that's one
Mhm,
of the great parts of it.
mhm. Guys, don't forget I've pinned a comment at the top of the chat on YouTube here, so you guys can click that if you wish to join the conversation, join the stream
Please do.
during. Yeah, please, guys, we want that, you know? I always well, yeah, I always want you guys to jump it up, but especially if you were here for the premiere, you got to see it was a very quick kind of, exercise that, Art took me through that fused like, that's the only way I can ever describe it, right? Fused kind of higher self in with the soul and we do all kinds of very interesting and different healing modalities here because I believe that energy is energy. So it doesn't, it matters not to me if it shows up through Reiki or shows up
Mhm.
through astrology or shamanism or whatever. I want us to experience this universal life energy or source energy or whatever you want to name it in each each expressive way possible. And this is powerful, guys. This is very powerful. So I don't want you guys to miss out. Everybody's saying this is so interesting. They're just like loving all of this. So I'm finding it very interesting as well.
Now, I can take people through a brief process if they'd like. It's something
Yeah.
that they can then repeat on their own if they want.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Listen, I'm gonna drop the link on again. So I'll wait for y'all for somebody to hit the link, and in between time, we'll just kind of trust me. I'm still here, so you know, it's not. It's not life threatening. You guys will be okay. Um. Oh, I know what I want to. I don't think I asked you this before. How has the NLP sector, how have they welcomed
Mm.
energetic NLP? Or how what's their take on this?
Well, a lot of people are really into it, or some other version again of combining spirituality and energy work. So there's a large segment of the NLP. Well, let me back up. People got attracted to NLP for different reasons.
Mhm.
Um, Most of us got in for personal and spiritual development. There were a few people who gave NLP kind of a bad reputation a few years ago because you can get laid using NLP, and
Mm,
and you can
mm,
have power over other people. And
mhm.
so there is it's a small segment of the community, but there's a segment of the community that is interested in just manipulation, power, but 80-90% of the people are great. And of them, you have your 20-30% who have this superstitious belief that energy work is a superstitious belief. And I say that they have a superstitious belief because people say things to me like, well, I don't believe in invisible energy. And I go, do you have a phone? Do you ever, what's your relationship to
That's the silliest
gravity?
thing ever.
Yeah. Have you ever had a sunburn? It's the infrared light that you can't see that burns you, you know.
Mhm.
And, but more importantly, that the human body has energy fields. That's science now. You know, you can go to the doctor. They measure things like brain waves and EKGs, and the communication in the body is electrochemical. And it's anytime you have electrons moving, it's creating fields. So the fact
Absolutely.
that we have energy fields is science fact. But I'll
Mhm.
still run into people who think, and I should tell everybody, I managed a research lab in reproductive endocrinology, studying the effects of estrogen and progesterone on the tissues in the woman's body for 11 years for the University of California Medical School in San Francisco. So while I don't have an advanced degree, I have 11 years experience as a researcher. So I
Mhm.
know a little bit about science, and there is very good scientific evidence for energy work now. Um, in fact, they were doing a lot of it in the Soviet Union and Russia. And unfortunately, it doesn't get translated. And there's the problem
Mm.
is a lot of scientific journals won't print these studies, even if they're good. And I mean, this isn't scientific, but I teach a lot in London normally when we can travel freely, hopefully soon again. And a woman from the Times, a reporter from the Times of London was in the audience one time. And the Times is it's like the New York Times, you know, well, they
Mhm.
probably go the New York Times is like the London Times. But, um, and she comes up to me at the end and she goes, I really love this. I'm fascinated. I'd write an article on it, but they wouldn't print it unless I rip you up, you know. And
Wow.
this was 10, 12 years ago, so it may have gotten better. And scientific journals are really reluctant to print any of this, even though there's tons of physicists and stuff who believe in energy work. But I'm just saying all of this because I don't like people to be cornered by the people who think that I'm being logical and I'm so scientific, and you guys are believing this thousands of year old superstitious nonsense. And I always tell them, you're the one who's got a superstition. A superstition's a belief without fact behind it. I go,
Mhm.
in fact, I was speaking at a mind, body, spirit festival type thing once, and a man came up to me later and he goes, well, there's no evidence for the kind of thing you're talking about. And I went, well, actually, there is, you know, and there's a lot of really good scientific research. Not all the research is great, but a lot of it is really well done, double blinded, the whole thing that shows that energy work is real. And then he goes, well, none of that research is any good. And I go, a minute ago, you didn't know it existed. Now you know that it isn't any good. That's a superstitious belief. And of course, he
Mhm.
left off. You know, I wasn't trying to change his mind. I was just
Right,
fun. But
right. But presented with, like, facts, most people, if they're in that kind of closed mindset, they're just gonna run off
yeah,
anyway, they're just gonna run off. In fact, well, here in Wisconsin, so we have the University of Wisconsin, it's a very the medical school, our UW Medical School is, well known across the nation. And so here in the hospitals here, they do allow Reiki practitioners. Now, they make you go through this whole medical Reiki malarkey, but the fact of the matter still remains is that as Reiki practitioners, we can actually come in and treat
wow.
patients, and they will do whatever they need to do to get
Mhm.
it through the insurance. Now, they'll say, "Oh, because it makes the patient feel better, and when the patient feels better, happier, whatever,
Yeah.
they heal better." Okay, well, you just by that statement, then you are confirming that there's invisible energy. Excuse me, and this is
And
not just a bunch of garbage.
And I want to say, having been a researcher at a medical school myself, some of those people who have the very negative attitudes mean well because they think they're protecting the public from superstition and nonsense and frauds, and there is that too. And so some of them are very well intended, but they've forgotten what science is. Science is you have theories and you keep testing them, you know, and when
Yeah.
you get evidence that disputes the theory, you change it.
Yeah.
And their problem is like I remember, and this was years ago. A lot of the people in medical school they go, well, I believe acupuncture can work for pain, but not for anything else. And that's because they could imagine somehow it's hitting parts of your nerves.
Mhm.
You know? And I would go, so you believe acupuncture works for pain, one of the most intractable problems in medicine. You can't believe it works on other things. I go, there's no logic in that other than, the fact that you don't know how it works doesn't mean it's not scientific.
Right.
Cosmic rays were always scientific. Gravity is scientific, even though we still don't really understand gravity,
No, we
other
don't.
than in space time, whatever that
No,
means.
we don't.
Um, so, anyways, I just like the kind of people who listen to your show and listen to me to know that like you're not being unscientific. It's woo woo is not unscientific. So, anyway.
Exactly. Exactly. I can't wait for the day when this is shown to be more scientific than science, but that day will be coming, I'm sure, soon. Um, I was just waiting to see, is there any more other questions here from the audience? Because we're not gonna hold everybody up tonight. I do wanna say, though, uh, and Art and I have spoken about this a little bit, so I'm not just throwing this on him. You know, I we have to figure out a way for Art to be able to Art and I to work together to bring this to the collective, at least
Mhm.
my collective or whatever you wanna call it, but, so that people can actually become, um, practitioners in this. This is so very important. There's such a huge group of people out here that, because you got the science, the proven science of NLP and you've merged it
Mhm.
or elevated it. I'll put it like that. Not merged, elevated. Um, with the woo woo,
Mhm.
this to me it makes so much sense for a lot of the people that are, in the medical field right now and would just like to kind of add some additional therapeutic methodologies that's already accepted. Maybe not the energetic, but the NLP is certainly accepted. Um, so we're going to need to figure this out for
Yeah, we're gonna
2022.
have fun doing that, and there are, sometimes it's very measurable. I mean, I've had people's, blood tests change the next day and stuff,
Mhm.
and I'm sure you have too. So, um, these things can be done. I would like to say, if you would like, I can take people through a quick little process that I think they'll like and that they can do on their
Yeah.
free of time. If you're
Yeah. Okay, alright. I tell you what, I am gonna make yours a little bit hopefully I can figure this out. How to make
if
yours
we're
bigger.
going over time, we could do it some other time.
No,
So,
no, we have plenty of time, don't worry about it, it's no problem. And let me see if I can move this. No. Okay, we were almost there. I was here, let me do this.
oh, oh, I see. Ta-da! No, sorry.
I think shift 4, is that what they just told me? My god, I cannot with this thing. I don't know why I bothered to try. Okay,
Well,
do you
it's
want
okay just like this.
you wanna do it just like this?
It's fine. They're probably gonna close their eyes anyways when they do it, so,
Okay. So do you want me to bring somebody up? Do you want me
uh,
to bring somebody up, or do you wanna do it for everybody in general? What would you like?
um, yeah, if you wanna bring somebody up, that'd be great. I mean, everybody I'll do something that everybody can
Okay,
do.
let's just do that
Bringing one
then.
person up if you want can be that can be helpful for people.
All
So
right. So, okay, I'm gonna ask either Keza or Caleb. Would one of you guys like to come up? Either one of you guys. I'm gonna, or anyone. I don't want to just make it them, but I'm just gonna say, hey, because there's the link. Okay, just put it in the chat. So if when y'all are coming, let me know before we get started so I can just, otherwise we're gonna go on and get going. And you don't have to put your video on, guys. You can,
yeah,
do like I just did and just come up as an avatar. That's totally cool.
the video is fun, but yeah, whatever
Yeah,
you want to do,
video is fun, but
it's
sometimes
totally fine.
they get, some of them get like shy when it's okay for
Oh,
me to show my face.
I totally understand. We don't always have things set up for video work. There's times I do it
I
like, oh,
know.
no, not here, not now. Thank you.
I know. Hang on one second. What's Caleb saying? You see, here we go. Here isn't right. That's what we are. This is what I have to deal with. Okay. All right. All right, guys. We're gonna do it for the collective group. Okay. So you guys sit back, relax. I'll be right here, so I'm gonna be getting it to you at the same time. All right, guys. All right. All right. I'm following your lead, sir.
Great. So a little bit of explanation before we start. And if you take a look at your hands right now and try to imagine what would your hands look like if you never washed them? They'd be covered with all this gunk. And if you fell in a stream or something and they got washed off, you'd go, "What's this stuff?" And like, "Oh, this feels better and I can move better." And, "Oh, this is me." Where your energy field is like every other part of you, it gets dirty constantly. And what it gets dirty with is other people's energy. And it's not about, uh, let go of the whole positive, negative energy thing. It's just energies are either yours or they're not. And if they're not yours, they're either helpful or they're not. You don't have to judge it as negative, positive, or any of that kind of stuff. So it's important to be able to clear your energy field of energies that aren't yours. And it's something that it's good to do even on a daily basis. And what I'm going to teach you, I'll take a little longer because I'm teaching you, but at the end, I'll show you how you can do it in just a minute, really. So a couple of things. One is, one of the ways to harness your untapped abilities is to use symbols and metaphors, because the unconscious mind and your spirit understands and works with symbols and metaphors. And they don't have to make logical sense even. So one of the symbols we use a lot in energetic NLP, or I guess it's a metaphor, is that of a magnet. So pretty much everybody played with magnets when they were a child. And you know that a magnet is this thing that has energy. And you held up the magnet and you held up a pin. And if you let go of the pin, boom, it went right to the magnet. And even a small magnet is really powerful, which I didn't used to understand in physics classes when they talk about how powerful magnetism was. And then this one professor, he put a little pin on a table and he held a magnet above it and the pin went up. And he goes, this little thing just overcame gravity. This little tiny thing overcame the gravity of the earth. It's like, oh. So again, it's wired into your unconscious mind that magnets can draw things to them. They have their own energy. They do it all on their own. So when you make an imaginary magnet, your unconscious mind gets that all of that is part of it. And we're going to do a process using imaginary magnets to clear other people's energy out of your energy field. And then you're going to fill up with more of your real essence and supportive earth and universal energies. Because not only do we absorb other people's energy, but there's only so much space in our energy field. So we literally shove our own essence out. So we're filled with other people's energy and we shove our own essence out. So we're going to clear their energy out. Again, not because it's bad or wrong, but because it's not yours and it's not helping. And you'll bring more of your essence in. And the way to make this really easy and we talked, if you watched the whole video, you saw this. There's something that we call in energetic NLP, your miraculous self. Your miraculous self is when your spirit, with its vast awareness, gets closely aligned with your deep inner human awareness, your deep inner human wisdom. And in energetic NLP, I encourage you to just take this very metaphorically, like, what exactly is my deep inner wisdom? Lisa and I talk about in the video, and it's worth watching. But for right now, it's like, you don't even have to worry about that. Your unconscious mind knows what I'm talking about. It knows it has a wisdom, and your spirit knows what it is. And like I say, I mean, I managed a medical research lab for 11 years. I wanted to be a scientist when I grew up. My father was one of the early computer guys. I love logic, but I also love going beyond logic. And in the work Lisa and I do, you want both. You want logic, but you don't want to be limited by logic. You want to go beyond it. So right now, if you want to, set your intention. Oh, the last part is, in energetic NLP, we're not allowed to do things right. I'll tell people in my programs, you're not allowed to do things right. I want you to play and experiment. So if you bring out your inner playful child, you'll get a million times more out of this than trying to do it right. And the easy way to do that is, while it's going on, just pretend it's happening. Pretend it's working. And then later you can analyze it. And to pretend that it's working, you don't even have to believe it's working. Just imagine, just pretend. We all played pretend games when we were kids. Some of us still do. And so you're just pretending. So I want you to pretend right now that your spirit and your deep inner human wisdom are coming together, they're aligning, and they're forming your miraculous self. So right now, just if you want that, set that as an intention, and then pretend it's happening. And then pretend it's happened. Now it will develop over time, but it's already there. It really is to me, the cosmic joke in all of this is, it's really very easy if you let it be easy. So just pretend you have a miraculous self, and I'm going to encourage you to let your miraculous self be in charge of this process. So consciously, you set your intention, you give your permission, but then let your miraculous self run the show. So if you want to, set your intention right now that what we're about to do is going to clear energies out of your energy field that aren't yours and aren't helpful. And we're not trying to get all of them at once, just whatever comes off easily. And that's real important. No tug of wars, just whatever comes off easily. So right now, ask your miraculous self to examine your energy field, your chakras, your energy channels, all the layers of your aura. And by the way, the chakras aren't just in the body. You've got ones above your head and below your feet. And the good news is, your miraculous self knows all about this. So consciously, you don't have to figure anything out. Set your intention and give permission that your miraculous self is examining your entire body and energy field, all the way down to your DNA, and identifying energies it would like you to release right now. And then imagine a big magnet floating way out in front of you. And now just pretend, give permission for the energy to go to the magnet. Pretend that your miraculous self and the magnet are just gently pulling energies from the middle of your body through the front of your energy field, and they're just going to the magnet. And you don't need to know what they are, because your miraculous self has figured all that out. Your miraculous self won't let you release anything you shouldn't release. I like to entertain myself. I imagine little shapes and forms and squiggles going off, but you don't need to do that. Then let that magnet go into the earth and give the earth permission to recycle the energy. The earth has the ability to purify the energy and do whatever it wants with it. So that's the first magnet. We're going to do 4 in all. The second magnet is high above your head, and it's clearing from your shoulders inside your neck, in your head, in your energy field all around your head. So all the different chakras in your neck and your head and above your head. So imagine a magnet's floating way above you, and let your miraculous self use the magnet now to clear other people's energies out of your energy field, out of your head, out of what are called your telepathic channels inside the head, in the different chakras, out of your crown chakra. And drop that magnet into the earth, and the earth recycles that energy. Put a fourth magnet behind you. This is one of my favorites because energy literally hides behind your back. And give permission now for that magnet to clear the whole back part of your energy field. Behind your head and neck and shoulder blades and heart and solar plexus and abdomen and hips, legs, knees, feet. Drop that magnet into the earth. And then the fourth and last magnet is already in the earth, and it's clearing from the base of your spine through all the energy channels and chakras in your legs and feet and toes, and your whole energy field around your legs, going down at least a meter, 3 feet below your feet. Let that magnet clear that whole part of your energy field. And the earth recycles that energy. And I only know 2 quotes from Aristotle. One is, nature abhors a vacuum. And what that means is, if you don't want to leave empty space, because something will fill it. So ask your miraculous self to fill you up with more of your authentic essence. Let your miraculous self fill your cells, your DNA, your chakras, your energy channels, the layers of your energy field with your authentic essence. And with earth and universal energies that will support you now and in your next steps in life. And then wiggle your fingers and toes, move and stretch a little bit. And it's as simple as that. So again, you can do it really quickly. You just put your miraculous self in charge. You set your intention that you're clearing energies that your miraculous self decides are not yours and are not helpful. And this includes, by the way, this works great with emotional energies, because a lot of the emotional energies we all run aren't even ours, or other people's. And you just do 4 magnets, one in front, release into it. It drops in the earth recycles it. One above, one behind, one in the earth already. And, each time the magnets go in the earth, and the earth recycles the energy. Then you ask your miraculous self to fill up your body and your aura, your energy field, with more of your essence and supportive earth and universal energies. If you do that when you first wake up in the morning, like my tendency to wake up in the morning is like, but if I'll lie in bed and I'll take a minute and do this, and then it's like, hello world, and and then if you do it before you go to sleep at night, you'll sleep better, you'll have better dreams, you'll get more rest. You can do it if you have a big meeting of some time, whether it's business or a personal relationship. Do it before the meeting, do it afterwards. Those of us who see clients, definitely do it after you've seen a client, or if you're on a team, or pretty much anytime you're around people. When you're done, you want to clear their energy back out, and the earth will either send the energy to them or just recycle it. So again, it's just 4 magnets and fill up at the end, and that's it. And thank you, Natasha, said that was a beautiful experience. Thank you.
Yes. That was amazing.
I love that little technique.
That is amazing. Yes. Wow. I feel so much lighter. It's interesting, this whole concept of releasing other people's energies off of me personally, has been coming up a lot lately in the last few days.
Mm.
I think as healers, teachers, mentors, whatever, however we interact with others, we do take on. And Because for a lot of us, we're so used to that's been our role.
Mhm.
We've taken, we've been the fixers in the family and in the friend group, and, we carry everybody on our back.
Which isn't good, and it's why a lot of healers aren't healthy. They because they're not clear in their energy, and just this one little thing, like I
Yeah.
said, twice a day, and you can do it in a minute.
Yeah.
Um, in in that Blockbuster 7, it will review this technique, but it will also teach you some other techniques that make this one even stronger, and they're all quite simple, but really
Mhm.
life-changing.
For those of you that don't know, I'm gonna put this in the chat now. There's, Art's gift to you is, it's 4 mini video sessions that will begin to teach you various techniques that you can do on your own to assist you with this clearing. Um, and that's, at Blockbuster 7. So the word Blockbuster, like the old video rental place that some of you, I'm so dating myself right now. But Blockbuster and then the number 7.com. Now one someone also said they felt a little, like,
Right.
sick from the magnet and back. If you're feeling a little physically, whatnot, what should we do you think? Or what is that I know what I think that's a sign of, but Art, what would you say that's a sign of if that happens?
Well, a couple of things. Sometimes you're hitting resistance. In this case, I think it's more you've loosened up some energies. So I would actually do the magnets again and see how that works.
Mhm,
Otherwise, it will pass on its own, and I'll help you a bit with it right now. It in your case, it hit a lot of family and ancestral programming that kicked up a lot of stuff in your space. So when you do energy work, sometimes you get these temporary aches and pains, or you can feel a little sick and stuff, and it's not a bad thing. Sometimes when you release energies, they just go. Other times you feel them on the way out, and other times you hit these big programming and resistance. In the
mhm,
Blockbuster program, it will give you something to do about that, what you're hitting, the resistance you're hitting.
yeah.
But for right now, let us know if you're not feeling better. But let me do one thing with you here. And just a quick thing, when it comes to ancestral programming, which most of us have, something I find really helpful is I always, when I run into it, I thank my ancestors because the programming is intended to help and it worked for them. But I thank them and I go, I don't live in your world, and I'll kind of in my mind show them my world, and I usually get
Mhm.
a reaction like, oh, you know. So particularly if you're you know a modern, for lack of another word, woman, you know, all the ancestor programming is not going to work. But it doesn't
Right,
work. Doesn't really work well for men either. But particularly for
yeah,
women that are independent and out in the world, um, and so it's not that the program's negative or bad. It's just it's their world. So I
mhm,
just imagine, I thank them and I go, I send it back and go, it just doesn't work in my world. So
yes.
but
I
let
was I was
it
going
better.
through TikToks, recently. And, there's this he's hilarious. He's from, the Caribbean, and it's this
Mm.
young man, and he says that he believes now that the ancestors are the weakest link because if they could see everything, why don't they give him the lottery number so he doesn't have to keep suffering down here? He doesn't wanna hear from them anymore if they're not gonna tell him how to be rich. What stock to buy, whatever, like, give him something real. Um, in your heart and lower back, yeah, light, yeah, that's definitely Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
It's big stuff. It's good that you're releasing it. I get that it's unpleasant. I think you're okay with that though.
Yeah,
You're releasing some really big old stuff. So,
yeah.
did you want to add something to that, Lisa?
No, I guess I was just, let it come nice and easy, all right? 'Cause, you know, you weren't expecting to kick this up today,
Yeah.
okay? So, I would just let it come nice and easy. Also, tonight, you know what? Take yourself a nice bath. And if you have like any Epsom salts or anything like that, I would put Epsom salts in the bath water. Kind of finish drawing this out with the intention of drawing it out. Um, and don't sit in the water too long. Then let it out. Rinse yourself off. And if you want to get back in the tub again, sometimes I actually tell people if you have lavender oil, you can even use olive oil
Mhm.
for God's sake.
Oh,
Um, put oil back in the water the second time after you've let the salt water out because the salt water draws out and then the oil seals in. It's like symbolic of sealing in. So then seal it
oh,
with the intention of being lighter, of releasing all of these old ancestral, not just ties, but some things that have been passed down through the generations, I feel like is like literally coming and breaking itself off of you. That's a
I
little.
know what you think, Lisa. Sometimes if I don't like have Epsom salts, I'll just use salt, like table
You
salt.
can, you could use regular salt, yeah.
In fact, when I'm at hotels, when I'm teaching, sometimes people put their tray out after they've had dinner, and I'll nab the salt shaker and I'll return it later, but I'll collect the salt and use it for a salt bath.
Yeah, you
I
could
guess
use
I should
regular
revisit
schmegular salts, guys. Regular schmegular salts, which you were working on after that's what I was working on till yes, there's spring break. I know, thank God spring break is over. Um, but yeah, guys, if you that's like, some old spiritual bath kind of thing, right? So, salts draw out, right? And then oils seal. So when you want to set an intention, you can seal it with the oil. That's why, in the old like the Old Testament times, and we'll even do this now, where we anointed kings or priests or things like that, folks' heads oil, anointed with oil. That's like sealing in, right? That's like a consecration and a sealing in of those abilities, gifts, spirituality, whatever it is that we are imbuing within that person. So oil seals and salt draws. Just
Oh,
remember
that's very good.
that.
I never thought about the oil part that way. That's great.
You're so welcome. You're so welcome, guys. Awesome. Well, we should let Mr. Art go. We've had him for almost an hour. You guys know I like to keep our guests about an hour and then let them go. Guys, go to blockbuster7.com, download that. Um, I'm gonna put in here actually, Art. I'm gonna make sure that everybody knows where to find you over on YouTube because we are over here on YouTube. I know I just subscribed to you tonight, so
No,
guys,
thank you.
go and find Art's channel and subscribe here. I'm putting the link in there. Link will be in the description. You can find him on. I put all of his links in the description box below. But be looking soon because yeah, we're gonna be doing something very soon. I'm so appreciative of
Yeah,
you
I'm
and
looking
just
forward to it.
saying it.
Like I
Yeah.
say, I so appreciate your work, the energy field you set, and I mean, I appreciate your skills as an interviewer a lot, but also just the hard energy that you imbue it with, and what you're doing in the world. So
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. We'll you guys, this is not the last time you'll see Art around. Not the last time, guys. So I appreciate y'all, participating in the replay gang. Leave us some comments below and let us know how that exercise went for you. Okay, we want to know. Definitely. Most definitely. Art, anything else you'd like to share with the folks before we let them go for the night?
yeah, just that one of my mottos is transformation can be easy and fun. Not that it has to be, but that it can be. And um, I, I'm not sure. They have these artificial intelligence writing things, and I turned it into a Facebook post, and I hope it didn't plagiarize somebody, but it came up with something really cool, and it said something about people think transformation is this big hairy yeti, but when they get into it, they realize it's actually a teddy bear. So Sure, transformation takes a certain amount of dedication to it and and commitment to it, but it often is fun. And even
Mhm.
like I'm at the point now when I'm doing energy processes, if I temporarily get an ache or a pain, or I feel a little sick, or if a strong emotion comes up, a part of me goes, "Oh, great, I'm working on something big." You know, it's like, and it's going to clear, and something's going to get a lot better. You know?
Listen, that's true, like, people I can remember years ago, before I really knew this what I was doing, my Aunt Charlene was just instrumental in
Mm.
making sure that I understood how to be accountable, like, how to take accountability and responsibility for my life, and stop blaming everybody else for whatever else, and really just kind
Wow.
of look within. And I was 30, I was in my 30s, early 30s when she taught me this lesson, and that just was like it was life-changing because then I started getting into living a lifestyle of introspection
Thank
and not putting it off somewhere else first, like digging deep within. Okay, now what was my part in this situation? Sometimes, it was hard at first, but now it's like I look forward to it. It's like it's just I'm like, "Oh, wait. Hold on, I get to fix this?"
you.
Like, I get to, like, make a change today? That's awesome? I think it's amazing to do that, right? It's just growing, so it can be easy. It can I mean, but I don't think neither Art nor I are saying it's not gonna be there's gonna be some tears, there's gonna be some this, there's gonna be some that, but overall, I wouldn't live any other way.
Yeah.
I
I
wouldn't.
remember a couple times when I've gone through real intense energy work that triggered really intense reactions for days. And and I just, after the first time it happened, it only happened a couple of times, but then I was able to go, oh well, again, this is going to transform my life in some fantastic way, and I'm just going to put up with
Yeah,
it for a few days and work
yeah,
with it. Not put up with it, work with it, but like it's okay, you know.
yeah, yeah, it
So
is.
it's not a horrible thing unless I turn it into a horrible thing. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. It's, you know, one of the, I think it's from the book Man's Search for Freedom or something, and I'm blanking out on the author's name, or Search for Meaning. Anyways,
Mhm,
um, but what he talked about is the power that we all have that nobody can take away from us is we get to decide what the events in our life mean. And
absolutely.
I had shoulder surgery a couple of years ago, and you have to wear this big old brace on your arm. And when it would start annoying me, I wouldn't suppress the part of me that was annoyed, but I would I would acknowledge that, and then I'd go, "This is my friend. It's protecting me. It's helping me heal." And so I would honor that part of me wanted the damn thing off,
Right,
but then I would just switch and going, I would just think there are billions of people who can't get this operation. There are billions of people who can't have this thing to protect
mhm.
their arm. So thank you. And so
Yes,
that's what I mean. We get to decide the meaning of the events. And then once you realize that, it all just gets lighter and more enjoyable.
absolutely, absolutely.
Well,
Well,
thank you.
gang I'm sorry, what, dear?
Oh, me?
Yeah, yeah, I thought you were saying
Oh, I said
something.
thank you.
I thought I cut you off.
No, no, no. I just said thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Alright, guys, well, we are gonna let you go. For a lot of us, it is the night before the children go back to school. My
Oh,
granddaughter goes back to school, thank God. This is a taste of summer, guys. Brace yourself. I hope you came up with a plan. Um,
well, I'm
Lord
laughing
willing.
because here in LA, this is Oscar night. That's what's on everybody's mind.
Oh, yeah, I realize that. I don't think I've
No, I
watched
mean,
it.
that's a local, here so many people work with it.
Oh, well, no, I mean, nationally, right? Like, I was thinking, I was like, "Why? What's going on?" Oh, it's Oscar night. Like, I didn't think people actually still watched it. I haven't seen the Oscars probably in, like, 5 years, maybe more,
Yeah.
at least. I don't know. Anyway, we'll let that go. It's probably been more than that.
Yeah.
Um, but for the rest of the world, it's the
Well,
last night
for
of
LA,
spring
it's
break.
a lot of people's jobs. So here
Yeah,
it's
no
a big deal.
kidding. I know. I know. But yeah, for the rest of us normal mere mortals, it is the night before they go back to school from spring break.
Well,
So
let's
we're
give
celebrating.
everybody who's watching their Oscar for being best listeners, their best participants.
I don't even have anything to say about that. I think I'm gonna go read
Sorry,
a good book. I'm gonna go do some studying.
really.
Um, Art, thank you again so much. I so appreciate you. This has been another magical night. Thank you so much.
Well, it's such a pleasure working with you, and I'm looking forward to what we do in the future, what
Absolutely.
develops.
Absolutely. All
And
right,
thanks,
gang. Huh?
just thanks everybody.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, guys. All right, gang. We're going to sign off here. Peace, love, blessings, and joy be unto you today, tomorrow, and for all eternity. I love you guys so much. We'll see you soon. We'll see you tomorrow for the lunchtime energies. Tomorrow, guys. We'll see you then. Have a good night. Bye, guys.
Bye.